Hello, viewers and listeners. You are yet welcome to another edition of the program, Midday Vibe. Coming your way on Calipit TV, transmitting on channel 141 on Star Times, and Calipit Radio, transmitting on 19.3 MHz, and on our website at www.calipitbroadcast.com. And in today's edition of the program, Midday Vibe, we will be commemorating the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And in today's edition of the program, we are going to be featuring what is the gender-based violence, what does it take, or what do we need to know about this, and why is these 16 days important? Stay tuned as we take the short break and the program starts right away. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as said earlier, in today's edition of the program, we'll be talking about the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. As we all know, from 25th of November through December 16 days is being marked to celebrate and commemorate 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, which has been part of the problem but availing our communities right, especially in Nigeria. And with me in the studio, I'm honored to have one of the gender-based activists and a member of Gender Educators, Mariam Umar, here in Sokoto State. Mariam, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you follow us to enjoy today's tech. And Malama Mariam, or let me say Miss Mariam, this 16 days of activism has been earmarked to enlighten the public concerning gender-based violence and to develop a mechanism to curtail the issue of gender-based violence. But for a start, viewers and listeners would like to know, what is even the gender-based violence?
Okay, gender-based violence is something that we should advocate for every single day.
Okay.
It is the kind of harm that is perpetrated against somebody just because of their gender. So that means if they are not that particular gender, that thing will not even be happening to them in the first place.
Okay.
So this is of activism is just to advocate more. Something we do every day, but at least we do it more within these 16 days so that people will know how harmful this thing is and then it should stop.
Okay, so you're talking about gender-based violence. It's about the harm that other genders are getting just because they are that particular gender.
Exactly.
All right, thank you very much. So we know every year there used to be a theme for the maybe the days or the particular day. So what is the theme for the 2025 16 days activity?
Okay, I particularly like this theme because it is very, very important. So it is unite to end digital violence against women and girls.
Unite to end digital violence against women and girls.
Yes.
Okay, so why this theme right now?
I feel like it's very important because most of the world is a global village now.
Yeah.
People that you not ordinarily meet in real life, you see them online and we interact. So now that most of our daily life is online, more harms are being perpetrated against women and girls on this internet space.
Online?
Yes, online. Especially platforms like Twitter, formerly now X, Instagram, Telegram. A lot of girls are going through a lot. They are being ashamed. They are being
molested.
Molested online. They are being abused. They are being sexually harassed online because of their gender. So that is why this thing is very, very important because it's something we should be discussing at this moment.
Okay. So now, when you talk about online, I was wondering, and the viewers will wonder too, online is something that someone will go and get that. So how is it affecting the girl child or the woman child?
Okay, I think there's a recent trend on X now that a woman will just post a picture of herself. The picture might not even be sexually suggestive, but there's an AI chat box on Twitter that called Grok. So if you ask Grok to undress a woman, it's going to do it.
Wow.
So the picture is still the same picture that the woman posted by herself.
It's still picture.
That same picture. Then they will undress her. And then it's still her face. Might not be her herself because it's done by AI. But then it's still her face that is carries and people are now seeing her nakedness. And that is not the version that she posted. So most of, and many other things, people they obtain money from girls by threatening them with news online. If I'm going to release your news. In real, if it was just physically, how many people will see
like
it? But
blackmailing.
Yes, hundreds of people will see your pictures within hours. And it's really something that affects girls psychologically. So if there was no internet or digital space, all these things will not be happening.
Okay, so you mean that's the reason why maybe this thing for this year, and considering the fact that we are in a digital era now, so the violence is now escalating beyond domestic to online violence.
The digital space.
All right, thank you very much, Mariam. Viewers and listeners to your show, Midday Vibe, come here on Calipet TV, transmitting on channel 141 on Star Times, and Calipet Radio, transmitting on 19.9 megahertz. And as you heard, we are talking about the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. But Mariam, one thing you said is in particular, before we now move back to it, something rings my mind now. You are advocating for violence against gender-based violence, right? Does it even involve, like, do male gender have such violences, or is only female that faces that type of violences?
It's for everybody. You see, when you tell people that you are a gender advocate, they just assume that you are advocating for girls, but it is not even like that. As far as something is being perpetrated against the men too, and it is just because of their gender. If the person was not a man, he would not be going through that. So that is also like, you are also advocating. As far as they call themselves a gender advocate, regardless of gender, be it male or female. But the most pronounced one is for women and girls, because you are the one that go through this thing a whole lot than the other gender. So that is why people just assume that you're advocating for girls if you say you are a gender-based advocate.
So they only thought you are advocating for girls. Okay, Mariam. Now we have had the space, like the theme for this year, which is mostly concerned about the let me say digital violence per se.
Yes.
So now, what are the ways? Let's start with that. Can someone, as a lady or a girl, protect herself against this violence online?
The problem is, we cannot say girls should leave the internet space, because most people conduct businesses, they interact online. So there's no way you can say, oh, don't even post yourself.
Yes.
The best thing we can do is to be advocating against this thing and deter those that are actually doing this from doing it. Because the problem is those that are sexually harassing these people on the internet space. It's not those people that are there. In fact, everybody have the right to be online, to post whatever they want. But just because of your own selfish interest, them now abusing these girls because they are online. We cannot be telling the girls not to stay
online. Yes.
But the best thing we can do is to give them a safe space, a space where they can heal. Because this thing causes psychological trauma. So if there is a space for girls to heal, and we are now advocating against the criminalization of these acts, then this can actually stop it.
Okay. All right. So now, let me say, you have been a gender educator maybe for quite a long time. Maybe can you share with the viewers and listeners maybe one of the cases that has touching case of gender-based violence, and how it maybe demoralize or affect the victim? And the extent, maybe, because sometimes we'll just be talking about things, but we don't know exactly how it is. We are just hearing about it. So maybe the viewers and listeners need to be in picture of what is it and to extent it can go. Can you just share with viewers maybe a scene without mentioning the name? Let's just hear the scene.
Definitely. Yeah. To protect the victim.
Yeah.
We don't call them victims, we call them survivors. Because once you survive such a thing, you are not victim anymore. Yes. So there's this woman who was just a random teacher, and she was just at her house one day and she received a message on her phone with a video attached that if you don't send the money, this video will be released on Facebook. So when she watched the video, definitely it wasn't her, but then it had her face, her bedroom wallpaper, in fact, her voice.
Okay.
So this woman was devastated. She was so scared. She started crying because even she almost believed that she was the one in there. But it wasn't her, it was AI. They use AI to create deep fakes of girls and use it to threaten them to collect money. We call that sextortion. Okay. So now that the man asked her for money, she did not even get the money. She don't have the money that he asked her. So she contacted one of our friends who was very, very much, who knows about this technology.
Stuff, yeah.
So the problem is, if you give such a person money to not stop, they will continue
extorting you.
So what she did was to tell the person that I'm not going to send any money. So she reported the case to the police. And there are organizations like ours. We provide a safe space, legal advice. We connect you with lawyers that can take your case for free. So now she identified that. And she reported, she also posted on her WhatsApp status and Facebook that if anybody send you any video, I'm not the one in there. So that actually saved that. It's affected her a lot psychologically. But the fact that the man did not later release that news, majorly because maybe he was very surprised at how bold this woman is, because normally she should have covered in shame and be sending him anything that he asked for. But this woman did not do that. So she lodged a report with the police and she healed silently. So I feel like we should also approach, if at all such a thing is happening to us, we should approach it with a very clear-minded view. contact somebody that can help you.
Okay.
If you are suffering inside, nobody will help you. So, but if you tell somebody that you can trust, who also know the level of this harm, they will help you. The person can think rationally at that moment, even if you can't think. The person will think and tell you the next step to do.
Okay.
So that's what we always advocate for. If you come to us now, we'll know, we'll be able to guide you. Because you at that point in time, you are not sane. You cannot think clearly.
You cannot think clearly. Yes. You have to be
because you are afraid. In fact, this is not even you, but everybody will think this is you to spoil your reputation on social media. Yeah. So I feel like any survivor or if you're a victim of this thing, the best thing to do is to lodge a report, not to give them what they demanded. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Mariam. But yet, we spoke about these issues concerning reporting to the people you trust and people all these things are kind of a part and parcel of someone. Even if you are not, you have to feel as if I say it now, they will think I really did it. So now, how do people reach out to you in ease? I don't know. Maybe organizations like yours are having, maybe because all this extortion and the rest are happening, not only on digital space, even in our rural communities. Maybe what effort are you doing in that regard?
Okay, apart from helping those that come to us, we also advocate, like we let people know, we publicize our app, and we let people know that this is what we stand for, this is what we are doing. If you come to us, you are safe. We do this through workshop, community driving advocacy. Sometimes we even there was an event that we did last. We trained journalists, that's the journalists in Sokoto, on how to report GBV ethically, and that was because we identified that journalists are reporting news without even covering the face of the survivors, and this will even follow them throughout their life. Yeah. So this training actually equipped the journalists on how to report GBV ethically and not leave a dent on the victim's life forever. Life. So we make sure we make our presence known within Sokoto for now, so people will know that there is a space where you can receive help and actually get over whatever is going on with you.
Okay, that's also. What about the rural communities like villages? Do you have any establishment there regarding that? Because they are hardly hit with all this. Because when we talk about domestic violence, mostly they are part of the suffer it must. What do you do in that regard?
Intimate violence has the highest number. In fact, because it's only those that are close to you that can actually perpetrate those evil against you. So now what we do is the fact that we do community outreach to educate these people on, like, in the rural community, those that are not even on the internet space to see what we are doing. So we make sure we educate them, we tell them what is, because some people don't even know what is GBV. Yes. They just feel like it's a normal part of their life. So we make sure we tell them what is GBV, the patterns, we identify what if you see this thing, this is what you should do. So we make sure we educate them. Even though we cannot be everywhere for now, we are doing our best to reach those places that are still near us.
All right, now as you talk about the patterns of GBV, I know viewers will be eager to know, does it have patterns? What are the patterns? And what will someone say to realize that this one is trying to perpetrate? Because you can prevent it for sure when someone is trying to. So maybe can you just shed light on the patterns of this GBV?
Okay, we're in a conservative environment like Sokoto now, and somebody that you have a professional relationship with is telling you to come to his office alone. Okay. Immediately you enter, the person
like in a workplace.
In a workplace, in a professional setting, the person asks you to come to his office. Then immediately you enter, you close the door. It's not a situation you should know that the next thing you should do is say, "Sir, please, I'm not comfortable being behind closed door with just you."
Yes.
Make sure you talk. If you just, silence is not the right thing to do in such a situation. Make sure you are seeing things that it is you are trying to you end up being in a very enclosed place with somebody that you are not comfortable with. Yeah. Make sure you talk and say, "Oh, please, I'm not comfortable here." So now, if such a person refuses to still open the door, then you know that okay, something is up. And now you also get some flirty remarks with people. Once somebody is being too flirty with you and you are not comfortable with it, make sure you maintain your distance from such a person and avoid things that will make you be together.
Like will compliments that are not necessary.
Frivolous, like, okay, if a married man is not complimenting you unnecessarily, talking about your body, you should know that something is up. Before the abuse comes, make sure you avoid it. Avoid such a person. Okay. Yes, those are some of the things that you can do to avoid. Sometimes it is not enough, because most of these survivors they get cornered. Okay. This is where they cannot escape. But the best thing to do at that moment is to scream. Okay. Draw out. Let people know that something is wrong with you. Okay. Don't just take it in silence. I've seen a victim that just because of how close she is with that person and the level of respect she has for the person, she couldn't talk. She did not do anything. And the person sexually harassed her. So when she left, she started crying and pissing herself off for it. I'm pretty sure if you did not shout and let people know at that point, you will regret it.
Yeah.
So why not just shout at that moment? You should not be ashamed. The person that is trying to perpetrate that evil against you
is not ashamed. He should be the
He should be the one that is ashamed. So why are you scared to let people know that something is wrong?
All right.
I understand how bad it is you don't want people to know that this thing happens to you. But the best thing to do is to let people know.
All right. Also, now viewers and listeners, it's still a show Midday Vibe. Come here on Caliphate TV, transmitted on channel 141 on Star Times, and Caliphate Radio, transmitted on 92.9 megahertz. And we're going to take a short break right now, and the program continues thereafter. Stay tuned and go nowhere. All right, welcome back, viewers and listeners. It's still a show, Midday Vibe. Come here on Caliphate TV, transmitted on channel 141 on Star Times, and Caliphate Radio, transmitted on 92.9 megahertz. And you can join us on www.caliphatebroadcast.com, and you can also watch our transmissions on YouTube at Caliphate Radio and Television, and on Facebook at Caliphate TV. And in the studio, we are with Mariam, who is a gender educator here in Sokoto State, discussing on the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And before we go for break, we have just looked at some parts of these issues and this year's theme. Mariam, you are welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
All right, now we have started talking about the preventive measures that one can take before the happening of the gender-based violence, maybe any type of violence per se, because this is not solely on the internet but every type. So now, as we said earlier, we have different types of violence. Can we just have few among them that people will know that this is violence? This is violence, because some people, they'll be facing things but don't even know that it's against their own right. They don't know that they are being violated.
Okay. One thing I would tell women and girls especially is anything that makes you feel uncomfortable from the opposite gender is violence.
Anything that
makes you feel, if you are not on a level with this person, if you are not this close and they are touching you unnecessarily and it's very awkward, like you don't feel comfortable being with that person in that kind of setting, it is violence.
Okay.
Even words can be violence, because people say, they say remarks that are sexually violent to women. Oh, why did you dress like this? Oh, you are this, you are that. It is something that is very, very bad. And once it makes you feel uncomfortable and you are not feeling less of yourself, you are feeling you are being sexually harassed. So now, as a woman or as a lady, if you are identifying this kind of pattern that this person is getting too unnecessarily comfortable with you, they are throwing remarks that should be throwing as their romantic partner at you, and you are not on that level with them, you should know that, this person is getting so. Because that is like, it's by step by step. Okay. So once they do this thing and you did not complain, they will take a step further by touching you. So now, before that even happens, you should make sure you make your stance clear that, I'm not in for this with you.
Okay.
Yes. Right. So, and as for rural areas that you mentioned the other time, lots of preventive measures are available, but this organization cannot reach every single person. Yeah. And as I've said earlier, the best thing, the most important thing for the victim themselves to do is to reach out. Okay, to speak up. Speak up. So if you are a victim of gender-based violence, make sure you go to the police. The police have the police themselves used to connect survivors with organizations like ours that provide them with things that they can do after. So now, if you are a victim, make sure, even if you don't know that this organization exists, if you go to the police and report, I'm pretty sure the police will not be dismissive of your claim. Yes. They will pay attention to you. So now, if the police do that, they will definitely want to connect you with them. It's not just Gender Educator Initiative in Sokoto. There are a lot of other organizations that are doing the same thing as us. So make sure you reach out and talk.
All right, Mariam, now, what can the communities do to create a safer environment for girls and women in their respective communities?
I feel like community leaders especially have a very big role to play on this thing, because the thing is, we ourselves are normalizing this violence. Okay. I know a lot of people that they feel like eating your wife is a form of correction. Yeah. So now, if eating your wife is a form of correction, at what level? To what extent?
The hitting. Yes. What type of hit is it? How did you hit? Why did you hit?
I've made a lot of researches about these things, and across various culture and norms, it is okay for you to slap your wife.
Slap.
to correct her. So this kind of people now have this kind of thing as justification that, oh, she's my wife and I'm correcting her for doing this particular thing. But your wife is an adult too. And she can definitely hear what you are saying. So you can actually correct this person with words.
Yes.
So now if your husband slap you once and you did not complain, you feel like, oh, he has every right to slap you. That is when bigger eating will now come in, and even it leads to death eventually. Okay. The current statistics say every 49 hours a woman is being killed by an his partner.
Wow.
Every 49 hours all over the world.
Wow.
So the pattern
the rate is high.
It is too high. It is too. So if you are a woman, don't just take abuse in silence just to protect your marriage or your children. Okay. Make sure you talk. Make sure you don't want this, because it's in a woman compared to the strengths of this opposite gender. We are vulnerable beings.
Well, I think even religiously we are said to use our clothes to hit them in case we want to draw the attention to
people now use that religion justification that, oh, even God says you can eat your wife. And that is not the interpretation.
Yeah, that's not.
The interpretation, they just use it to back up their own evil doings, and they are perpetrating it against the girl. So that is why it is much more harder or much more common among these conservative environments, majorly because they have cultural justifications.
All right, so now let's talk about the survivors of this GBV. What should be the support system that should be put in place for these survivors? What do you think?
The problem is this year's team specifically, Unite to End Digital Violence Against Girls. Our laws are not accommodating.
Okay, the laws.
Yes, of the problem that is going on online. Definitely, we have the Cybercrime Act, we have Violence Prevention or Violence Against Girls Act, but these laws are not specific to the kind of harm that is being perpetrated. Okay. Let's say somebody generates a nude video of a girl now and posted it online. The law criminalizes the release of nude without consent. But you did not even obtain this thing from her.
Yeah.
You fabricated it. So now a defense lawyer can definitely argue that, you never even
it wasn't her,
but it's her face.
Yes.
So the sense of humiliation, the psychological trauma is the same thing. Whether it's AI generated or even the real one. Yes. So now our laws are not accommodative of all these things. We have no law regulating digital violence against women and girls, or even the other gender too. So I feel like we need updates on our laws so that they will accommodate these specific harms that is being perpetrated against each gender. And with that, there will be a lot of, because even now, if it stops, that means you cannot even get justice. Because the law is not accommodating what is being done to you. The law does not recognize it as violence. Okay. So now, so now we need to just advocate for reform, legal reform more, so that people will have something to fall back on when they are survivors of these things.
Okay, now when we talk about gender-based violence, boys and men used to feel like it's for the ladies, and that's why mostly you see the advocates are the ladies. Does boys and men have a role to play in ending this violence against girls and children?
Definitely.
Girls and ladies, let me say.
In our organization, we have a lot of males.
Okay.
And we are teammates. And we do all these things together. We go to community, we do all this advocacy together. A lot of men also just because you're a man doesn't mean you cannot advocate for girls. And even in our own organization, particularly, we advocate for both gender. It's just that the prevalence for girls is much higher, as I've said. That of girls. So now if we promote something we call masculinity. Okay. Positive, because some people, when they see a guy, they feel like it's just a signature of a violence person. Some of them are scared. Okay. To even move closer. So what we do is we portray men as good people too, as those that will not just also, because it is not all men. It is not all men. Yes. So we make sure that we involve men in our activities too, so that girls will be feeling more safer with men and not try to avoid them like a plague. Okay. So definitely men have a role to play. The first thing that I feel like men should do more is to speak against it too. Okay. If you are a man and you're advocating against it, it carries much more weight than even women. So now if you are speaking against it, you make sure you dissuade your peers from doing it. Because definitely we know that most of those that are doing it are men. So if a man is telling them not to do it, I feel like it will still carry much more weight than a woman advocating against it. So as a man, there is a loss for you to do. Because I know people that are men, and because they have sisters, they have mothers, they can relate to this thing, so they advocate against it. So I feel like if everybody you can be human rights advocate, definitely you can be women's rights advocate too. Yes. Because human rights and women's rights are the same thing. Yes. Because
women are human.
So definitely, I think we should see more men advocates.
Okay, so now we know these issues. So whenever we talk about these things, people need to think that it's sponsored by what do we call them? The foreigners, so that they can destabilize the peace among us. But now let's think. these things are mostly emanating from the West. I for sure is quite sure that they are the ones who started it. But how can their cultures and our cultures be blended to address this issue of gender-based violence? Because they do face their own type, and we do face our own type. But how can we blend and sort out the solutions to this particular single entity gender-based violence?
Okay. As a person,
so that we can boycott the notion that maybe this is a sponsored thing. They came to deliver what the Europeans or the whatever tell them. I don't know that you are getting.
I understand because the Western have influenced most of our cultures.
That's true. That's
true.
So
now people say, "Oh, it's because you are acting like a white woman." If you are trying to advocate for girls or women, say you are acting like foreigners. But I don't think that is the case.
Okay.
Because they are also women like us, and they are also facing gender-based violence. They are being harassed and abused just because of their gender. So now, since we are women, they also have their own problem. They have racism in the West. We don't have that here. But then, if we are identified that the pattern of this problem is the same, definitely we should be advocating for it as much as they had to.
Yes.
So I don't think the notion that, it is being sponsored by the foreigners to destabilize the stability of our country as a whole, it is very false and misguided. So I feel like it is not true.
Okay.
Most of us are doing this thing because we've seen victims. We've seen that, this is something that it could have been me. It could have happened to me too. Because I'm also a woman. I'm also a man. So now, if we are all advocating against this thing, it should definitely stop. If it cannot stop totally, it should reduce.
Okay.
So definitely we should lean more towards doing it and not try to dissuade those that are doing it from doing it by trying to guilt trip them that, they are trying to copy the West.
Okay. And now, as a maybe gender educator, now, I know you need more hands in these activities. How can someone, maybe from the masses who is listening to us now or viewing us, who wants to join the trail and fight against, how does he do? Because, it's not being done just by head. There must be some certain training that one has to go through because you must know what you are advocating for. What can someone do in that regard?
Okay. I don't believe that you need a lot of resources to start something. Okay. Even from our organizations, we don't have all the money in the world. But we are doing the little that we can with the available resources. So even before I joined Gender Educator Initiative, I have already started making researches about these things. I read a lot about it, and with my background in law, I make sure I know all the existing policies, the loopholes that we should be working towards. So now, as a person from the comfort of your room, you can do something. You can drive a change. How do you drive a change? By speaking against it.
Yes.
By talking about it and letting people know that, no, you are standing against this particular menace. So now, and for Gender Educator Initiative particularly, the pattern of we are a small team for now. We have done a lot of things. Okay. Because what it takes is passion. We have people that are passionate about advocating against this thing, and then we have good leadership. So now, if you are trying to join such an organization, you can always reach out. Okay. We always put out form. It is momentary because I think for now we are not taking anybody in, but I think in the future, definitely put out applications for people to join. So my own advice is for you to always follow, if you want to join, follow pages that do these things. They will definitely put out their call for membership. And by that time, you should also be ready. All right. You should know about what gender-based violence is and how to prevent it and advocate against it.
Okay, now we have been telling about women's self-reliance. Let them be empowered. Let them work on their own. And does this, because we said now the trend is on social media, and that's where mostly the women do their businesses. Does this GBV, especially digital one, have effect on their economic empowerment?
Directly or indirectly, it is direct. It is connected. Okay. Because I always preach financial autonomy for women, because even in the face of abuse, if you are vulnerable and if your livelihood depends on the person that is abusing you, you will just stay. Yeah. You have nowhere to go. Yeah. So as a woman, I'm the kind of person that believes in being submissive, but make sure you also have something that is bringing
backing
you money.
You up. That's something.
So now, the fact that women do business on the internet space, and now people are perpetrating harm against them on the internet. Anybody that is profit driving would not be dissuaded by the what is going on the internet to still make sure she put her business out there. But then it can have impact on her or the level at which she carry the business on ahead online.
Okay.
But I don't think the major solution is for us to still preach against this thing, for it to stop. It is definitely going to affect women. I know a lot of people that sells female dresses, and they wear it to just advertise on the internet. But when they post this thing and people are sexualizing them, she would not want to post again.
Yes.
So, but then I still believe that there are ways around this thing to prevent yourself from being in the, because people don't even have to post suggestive pictures for them to be abused or sexually harassed.
Okay.
So as a woman, what you need to do is just do your business. Make sure you are not doing too much. And in the sense that you are not directly attacking or trying to attract those people. Portray yourself, in a way that will attract abusers. So make sure we should also make the internet a safe space for everybody, because everybody deserves to be on the internet, regardless of the agenda.
Yeah.
So,
all right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Still a show, Midday Vibe, coming on Calipet TV, transmitted on channel 141 on Star Times, and Calipet Radio, transmitted on 92.9 megahertz. And it's high time now for listeners on the radio station to do join the conversation on 09060002022. I'll repeat, 09060002022. You can do call in or drop us a text message on the number. And don't forget that when you call, you should move away from the radio set. You listen to us and speak clearly and stick to the topic of discussion. You can ask questions or add anything on the topic of discussion. Now, Malama Mariam, now we have heard all this about gender-based violence. Now, I am a lady, for instance, and I feel like I am being abused. How do I report? Without maybe, because sometimes someone will not like to go himself, because some people think when you go to police station, that's the end of it. So now, are there any mechanisms, like report mechanisms like that organization like yours or even INGOs are having, that one can report his case and it will be followed and make sure that justice is being done?
Yes, I know a lot of organizations that do this, but then you still have to go to their website. Okay. If our home website, it is always available, it is always read. We have our Facebook account. You can always reach out.
What if I cannot access the internet?
If you cannot, there's a contact. If you cannot access the internet, that means you will not be able to reach us at all. Okay. But then in that instance, what you should do is we always have our office. Okay. We have our office in Alcantry Plaza. So if you go there, definitely you'll be able to see us, and you also identify our contact information there. Okay. So I feel like the internet, everybody is on the internet now. But then let's look at the worst case scenario. As a person, if a lady is going through anything like that, the first thing she should do is to identify a trusted ally. Okay. Within her community or even in her house. Like someone she trusts, someone that she can rely on. Yes, someone that will listen, someone that will not dismiss her claim and feel like, oh, it is nothing, just deal with it. Yes. Somebody that will listen to her. So once you identify such a person and you actually tell them about it, they will guide you on how to report. So if it comes to an organization like ours, before we will lodge the complaint to the police, we'll help you out with all the stress of reporting and all of that. And in fact, it will still give you more credibility if an NGO is the one overlooking your case. Okay. So then we have a lot of organizations like that. So we have Agile in Sokoto. Adolescent Girl Initiative for Learning and Empowerment. Yes. They also do things like this. Because they advocate against gender-based violence against girls and women too. Okay. We also have the Sokoto. We even have the Female Board of Education in Sokoto. And we have the Human Rights Center. Yes. That is even the major and specific place. It is government-owned and they're always ready to support victims. Okay. I've had a meeting with the director there and he said they receive cases like this every day. Okay. So if you cannot access the internet, you cannot identify an organization like ours, you can always report to the Human Rights Organization in Sokoto and the Female Board of Education forum. Okay, but we assume like, when you are having a fire outbreak, there is hotline. When you are having a disaster, there is hotline. Anything, there's a hotline. And this is not about only one single organization. Sometimes you work collectively because you are fighting one menace. And mostly, let me say you, for instance, you are a lady too, you know the pain and you know how it sounds like. So is there any quick, because it's very important. Sometimes a lady will not like to show her face to narrate the case. You know that because you have it. So now maybe someone will try to send his own message. Maybe it's not even herself. She's not the one reporting herself. Maybe a sister of hers, and she wants to report it so that people can come and observe and make sure maybe the sister is not willing to talk. Is there any toll-free or hotline that such messages can be delivered? For now, we have our contact information as Gender Educator Initiative.
Gender Educators Initiative.
Specifically.
Yes,
so we have our contact information that you can always reach out to us with.
Okay.
So I think I have it here.
Okay. A victim or someone who feels someone is or is being threatened can easily access you and narrate, so that you can go and investigate and ascertain the gravity and whether it is or not, before we can now embark on the maybe trial or cases like that. All right, now if the contacts are ready, maybe the viewers and listeners would like to have your contact. Yeah.
070.
Okay.
422.
Okay.
61.
Okay.
500.
You said 070.
Yes.
422.
Yes.
61.
Yes. 570.
570. Okay, so this number now, if someone is having a case of that, he can report it. Fine. So I hope the viewers and listeners have had this, and in case you are facing or seeing that someone's right, most especially a lady or girl or even a boy, is being abused, because boys are being abused too, you can easily call this number, reach out to them and send the message to them, and they will come and investigate and ensure that justice is being served. Now, Mariam, you have had so many cases about gender-based violence, and you have witnessed so many. And I'm so much sure that you have been following cases to courts. So now, how satisfied are you with the way the cases are being handled at the courts and the justice that are being delivered?
Currently, I'm not very much proud of the justice system, because you see that most of these cases are being dragged out for longer than necessary.
Wow, that means their time is being just enrolled.
So before the survivor even get justice, there's a recent case of Ochanya.
Okay.
It went so viral online. She has died for the past 5 years, and the perpetrators are still walking free.
Wow.
They were not even arrested. The person that was arrested was discharged and acquitted.
Okay.
The other was not even tried at all. So I feel like the laxity of in treating these cases is a little bit too slow.
Okay.
And I even recently read a report conducted about how most of these rape cases specifically are being done. So if they charge a perpetrator to court on a count of 3, maybe rape, sexual assault, and all of that, they do plea bargain. They call it the person will plead guilty to the lower offense, and they will now remove
the remaining ones.
So now if a person that raped somebody now, they remove the rape charge.
Wow.
For the person to plead guilty to sexual assault that has lesser sentence, and at the end of the day, they'll just pay fine and go. So the person is not even punished. So that report, I was so devastated when I read it, because most of the people they did not get justice. Okay. Just because of how this thing is being done or is going on. So I feel like we still need our legal reformation. Okay. We should treat. They recently passed a bill on child molestation, like life imprisonment now. Okay. I think that is a good step towards making sure that people are not even going near this thing, because if the punishment is harsh, people will not even do it at all. So definitely, I feel like we still need a lot of legal reformation in terms of our criminal justice system, so that it will dissuade perpetrators from actually committing these crimes. But then the kind of the place that we are now, it is not enough, but it is good.
Okay, it's good, but it's not enough. All right. Thank you very much, Mariam. And due to time factor, I think we are going to round it up. I don't know whether finally you have any message for the viewers and listeners.
Okay, if I am to say one thing, I would say that we should all be advocates against gender-based violence, because it can be anybody. It can be my sister, it can be yours. So if we are all against it, I'm pretty sure it will reduce in our society. All
right. Thank you very much, Miss Mariam, for joining us in our show today. And viewers and listeners, with this, we are going to draw the curtains of today's edition of the program, Midday Vibe, which come your way on Calicut TV, transmitting on channel 141 on Star Times, and Calicut Radio, transmitting on 92.9 MHz, and on www.calipetbroadcast.com. From the studios of Calicut TV and Radio, I am Muktari Gonga saying, let's join hands together and fight this gender-based violence. It's not only on women, but also on men. So anyone that's tried to infiltrate or perpetrate victim violence against anyone's right, he's perpetrating the GBV. Let's not keep quiet, report that, and make sure that we stand by it and show sympathy to the survivors. Stay tuned and keep watching 92.9 MHz and channel 141 on Star Times. Have a wonderful day ahead.